Mark, a 1-0 win over York City at home today. What were your thoughts on the win?
My thoughts were that our game plan and our organisation worked to frustrate them and to nullify their threat. You know, I'd watched their game against Darlington where they won 4-0. I identified where their strengths were, how they played. Their game plan was one that we had to deal with. If we dealt with it, we had a good chance. If we couldn't deal with it, then you know we'd get beat. So the lads knew exactly what they had to do to get a victory today. They had to work really hard to get it, but we can't fault them that they deserved it in the end, just through how hard they worked and the fact that they didn't allow York to score.
The win has opened up a bit of a gap between ourselves and the relegation zone. Does that give you a bit of relief?
Not really. No, I'm not really interested in the league table. You know, I go from game to game. You know, if you go from game to game and you know you're picking up points, then you're going to be okay. You don't have to worry about relegation. The ultimate is that we prepare for the next game that we've got, and that we don't dwell on any success or any defeats that we've suffered. As long as the players are trying to do what we're asking and they try to do it with everything they've got, then I'll accept that. We've certainly got everything out of every player today. I couldn't fault anybody. Took us a little bit to get going. They were first to ball for about the first 15 minutes, and what they did, they tried to condense us and work hard, and they were forcing us into errors. But when you squeeze up this space behind, and we just had to get the ball into them spaces, and then we caused them problems, and you know we got our reward.
A goal for Ryan Shenson today. You must be pleased for him.
I'm really pleased for Ryan. Yeah, he came to us, you know, as a 16-year-old. He's worked incredibly hard. 2 years with a youth team where he had a really successful time, and he developed massively as a player. We asked him to go out and get experience and get experience of men's football. He did that. He made his own decision to stay there as well. We wanted him back at the start of the season, but he knew that he possibly wouldn't get the opportunity, so he decided to stay where he was. He scored goals from midfield for them. You know, I went watching him regularly, so that I knew exactly what he had. And why I brought him back was because he had something different than the midfielders here that we had already. So it took a little bit of time to adjust, but I just felt it was right to give him the opportunity today, because I needed an high energy performance, and what you get off Ryan is 100% honesty.
So today's result means we've picked up our first clean sheet at home. Just how important is it to pick up that?
Well, we defend with 11, you know, but I've got to think that Cam Mason was outstanding today. He made a really class save in the last couple of minutes of the game. The back four in front of him were outstanding. You know, another one of the youth team came back today, got man of the match, and he was outstanding, considering he's had a little bit of time out. He came back about a month ago, but he's had a little groin niggle, so he hasn't been able to feature. But he was outstanding, as was the entire back four and everybody in front of him. So a real, you know, hard-working defensive display with a threat on the counter-attack, and like I say, we got our reward for that tenacity that we showed throughout the game.
There seemed to be quite a big celebration when we scored. You and Jack ended up on the floor. Could you talk us through that one?
Yeah, I try and stay calm, you know, not get carried away with goals, and because there's a long time to go, but you know, it's very emotional. I'm very passionate about football. Everybody at Curzon knows that. It's certainly overspilt. Me and Jack have a great relationship, you know, and we celebrated, and we're going out and celebrating tonight.
Nuneaton next. We make the trip there next Saturday. What are your thoughts going into that one?
Well, my thoughts are that I'll start preparing for that game tomorrow. I've got a week. The players will come in on Tuesday. We'll have things in place to make sure that training and preparation for that game is key. you know, we've brought in some new players over the last week that will have a bigger understanding of how we work. You know, the more training sessions they do and the more preparation for games there are. So, you know, we've got to go to that game knowing that that is our biggest game of the season, because it's the next one. You know, we have a thing at Curzon of when we get a couple of good results, we ease off a little bit, and I can't allow them to do that. You know, I'm really greedy. I want more. You know, so I'll be demanding more off them in training, as the coaches will, and they'll have a full plan in place for going to Nuneaton next week and doing everything we can in a real tough game to get the points.